Good evening. We'll call this meeting of the City of Hawarden, Iowa to order on Wednesday, April the 27th, 2016 at 5:41 p.m. President or Mayor, Council other than Travis Olson. Mr. Pickner will be here later with us. Mike DeBryan has been called out, and Tom Kane will be back to work tomorrow. Very short agenda items tonight. If you wish to address the City Council this evening, that opportunity will be on the standard agenda item number 1C. We limit your conversation with us to 5 minutes per item, please. Standard agenda item number 1, approval of the April 13th, 2016 City Council meeting minutes. You have those in your packet. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
And a motion by Tim. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Payne. Thank you. Further questions or clarifications? Hearing none, all in favor of the approval of the April 13th, 2016 city meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 4-0. Next is approval of claims for payment. Monty, do you have questions?
Nope.
Okay. Tim, any questions? Payne, questions?
None, thank you.
John, questions for payments?
None, thank you.
Hearing no questions, I'd entertain a motion for approval of the April 27th claims for payment.
So moved.
Moved by Payne. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John. All in favor then of claims for payment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes again 4-0. Next is open business from the community. Does anyone wish to address the council and myself? We'll move on then to the mayor's report. Just a reminder to the citizens that the ambulance dinner is this Friday evening. I believe it is from 5 to 8 p.m. Is that right, Payne?
Mm-hmm.
At the city hall. We had the opportunity to have the Westview Elementary second and third graders tour a few weeks ago. Mrs. Bonderson's class was kind enough to send us thank yous from Mrs. Bonderson, dear Mayor Porter, and city employees. Thank you for the great tour and visiting with the second grade. I've always appreciated the time you have given the second grade introducing them to city government. Thank you also to all the Hawarden employees who are so thoughtful and kind to the second graders. I have a number of thank yous from them. The first one kind of probably set the stage, I believe. It said, Mayor Porter, thank you for letting us sit in your guys' set. I think she meant seat, but that's okay. It was so fun, and I saw the coffee machine. So there you go. It was so cool. I got to sit in the mayor's seat. I saw a room that was so important, signed by Kimberly, and then a nice cartoon there. So if you wish to read the rest, you certainly can. We always appreciate when they come and we visit with them and show them around. Mr. DeBryan talks with them in the police department. We let them come in here and we kind of pretend we're having a city council meeting, so they get to sit in the chairs, and they all like that very much. So, and also tonight, welcome to the Westview government class. We are glad you're here. We'll be pleased to answer any questions you have after the council meeting this evening. And if you had I wondered if you had a great trip probably to Washington, D.C. and saw a much larger government, but probably one that's not run quite as well as our particular city government, I wouldn't think. So, evening, Mr. Pickner.
Good evening.
We'll move on to then council comments. Anything from council? Okay, thank you. We only have 2 staff members. Anything from Mr. Pickner, city attorney?
No, there isn't.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Tucker, please.
I just have one item. I want to remind everyone that this weekend is community cleanup weekend. The area down by the tree pile will be open from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening, and it will be staffed. And it might be a little muddy down there, so take note when you go in there with your stuff. We usually get a pretty good turnout, and we hope it's another successful opportunity to clean up the community a little more. And again, please be respectful of others that are down there and be careful, because we don't want someone getting hurt during the process, so.
Staff has done a nice job of getting those trees out of there and getting that all looking pretty nicely.
Yeah, it's cleaned up pretty well.
Good, thank you. Any questions for Gary? Okay. Move on then to other agenda items. Agenda item number 3, update by the hospital. Jason Pullman, please.
Good evening. Just to give you an update on the hospital project, we are selling gallons of water. We have plenty of it up there. It has delayed the project. We're about 3 weeks behind right now, and we need some, of course, sunny weather and drying weather. We're ready to pour concrete, but they really can't pour concrete when it's raining. Nahava Construction from Lamar's is frantically trying to put the roof on the top, and he's got about a third of it done. He's got a couple more weeks to do. So we're just trying to catch some good weather, be able to pour some concrete, and then after we get the inside concrete poured, then we can start laying out the rooms and getting the steel studs up and moving in that direction. So we are about 3 weeks behind, but Jason Steinke from Samuels Group said if we can catch some good weather, we can make that up in a short period of time. So otherwise, the project's going real well. Just a lot of water, like everybody everywhere else, and that's about it. Any questions that any of the council members have?
I don't think so. All still all being safe?
Yeah, we've had every day that the construction site's been open, there's not been an injury so far, so that's really a good sign. And they hold safety meetings, and once the concrete's poured, they're going to plan to have a safety grill out inside for the contractors for the number of days that they've been safe. It's almost like 250 days now that they've gone without a injury, and so there's no injuries been on this project yet, and let's hope that there is none.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enlightening us. Yep. Next agenda item number 4. This would be the third reading of Ordinance 695. This is an ordinance amending the Code of Ordinances of the City of Hawarden by amending the water and wastewater rates. Just so the West Sioux students understand, this is the third reading. We've had 2 readings at the previous 2 meetings prior to this that have passed. So every ordinance has 3 readings in order for the opportunity for citizens to give input. So the third reading of Ordinance 695, is there a motion for that reading?
So moved.
Motion by Tim, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Payne. Call for a roll call vote then, please, for the third reading of Ordinance 695.
Allen?
Aye.
Kurth?
Aye.
Feldhecker?
Aye.
Harvey?
Nope.
On a 3-to-1 roll call vote, third reading of Ordinance 695 passes. Agenda item number 5, review of the City of Hawarden succession plan for City Administrator, Public Works Director, Finance Officer, and Police Chief. We're getting toward the time that Tom and Gary will be retiring in the next number of years, so we'd like to start the discussion on how we will handle their replacements. Gary has put together a thought pattern within our packets, and we'll start kind of discussions with that if we may, please. Let me just find it here.
Again, I just think it's important that in order to keep the community moving forward in the future, we've made great strides, I think, in the last number of years with some of the projects that we wanted to accomplish from an infrastructure standpoint, and also from cost control, efficiency areas that we've all focused on. I think we want that to continue, and I think we all want that to continue. We've had some conversations with Cheryl's retirement, and she's We did hire someone to replace her, if you remember correctly, about a year and a half ago, and that didn't work out very well. She was here for about 4 months and then left, went back to her previous position. And so Cheryl has been back working approximately 15 hours a week or so, and we've been picking up the balance of what she's been doing during that time. But we are advertising, and we'll be interviewing for that position within the next couple of weeks here. So, but we also have Tom's position, my position, and Mike. Police officers that can retire at 55 and get their full benefits. So, and having conversations with Mike, I think that's in the back of his mind. That's probably what he won't completely retire, but he would retire from the position and then do something else. In my opinion, I think he could do a great job moving into my seat, and he has a lot of the abilities to do that. He has a passion for the community, but if we're going to do that, it's the education process needs to start fairly soon, because he does have some areas that he's going to need some guidance and some help with. But so I just thought I would we've talked about this a couple years ago, and we're getting much closer now, and I think with that many of the folks looking at retirement, we need to make sure we're doing the right things. So again, keeping in mind that my position is the one that the council is responsible for hiring, and the public works director and finance officer fall under the city administrator, his area of approval. And obviously, I think it's still wise to have the blessing of the council, no matter who's responsible to make those decisions. I think we're all in this thing together, and it's important to get the right people. It doesn't, egos need to go by the wayside when it comes to what you do best for the community. So, so I think it's important that we have these conversations and know that you guys are comfortable with the direction that we're heading, and or if you're not, we need to know that too. So,
Thoughts from council?
Well, I like the idea for the direction for the city administrator, but the rest of the structure of the city, I think we really need to take a look at other communities our size and what they have as well, for the amount we're paying out for some of the positions and stuff and what we take in. We really need to compare and see if all these supervisor positions and different director positions are necessary for a town of 2,500.
Gary, if we had Mike start to kind of shadow you, how would that process work? Would you take a number of hours per day and sit down, like going through the finances and going through this and that? How would that be approached with you and Mike?
that's how it would initially start. It would, nothing would change on his end. He would continue to do exactly what he's doing. We would, as we got closer and in certain times of the year, obviously, it would require maybe some time that he would get someone to fill in for him for a day or something. And, we get into budget time, or we get into audit time, we get into some of those times of year. It's the critical times of years that would require more time. But right now, it's just a matter of there are a lot of other things to think about if that were to happen in replacing the police chief, and we have a couple other police officers who are not that far away from retirement as well. So
So would you try to get an assistant chief or something, or would you hire an assistant chief?
probably wouldn't do anything right now.
Station time or not?
No, I
You
don't.
have to do that until.
I don't think so. I think it'd just be an added expense. They'd- So, we have looked at the models that we have, Payne, and you know, when I came here, we did have a development director as well. We limited that position, which eliminated about 60,000, 65,000 of payroll. We're also looking in this model to eliminate the one of the linemen, which would eliminate another $70,000 or $80,000 a year in salary. So once the electric is converted from overhead to underground, and we've gone from 2 different voltages down to 1, and we have a new system in place. And with Travis's background, he would still be available in emergencies, similar to what Tom is today with on the gas side. We're all pretty confident that that would work fairly well. So, very well, actually. So there'd be another $80,000 or $85,000 reduction in salary and benefit costs by doing that. So.
We don't have to decide anything tonight, right? We're just kind of
Yeah, I just wanted some input.
on it. Sounds
Yeah.
good.
And I appreciate Payne's comments, and if you guys have other input, I just would
Where I'm
like to.
coming from is if basically have a whole changing of the guard on all upper management, so now's
Absolutely.
the time to look at our whole city structure, and if we need a supervisor for 2-man departments and different things like that throughout, or if the public works director can be the overall supervisor and actually work with everybody and not have a supervisor for those 2-man departments.
Yep. Yep.
Actually adjust some of these numbers, because some of the salaries, and I understand it just kind of goes with years of service. You know, as you
Yeah.
go, you increase, but the amount of money we pay out in salaries on some of them is just astronomical compared for the size of our city.
Keep in mind, we've cut about $500,000 of salary in the last
I know.
8 years in benefits annually. So that's a big chunk too. So we've done a pretty fair job of paring it back. And I'm not saying that we should always look, anytime you make a change, you should be looking at what other options are available. So.
Other thoughts or comments for that this evening?
We'll just keep plugging along in this direction
Thinking?
until we hear otherwise, so. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next regularly stated city council meeting will be Wednesday, May the 11th. We have no other agenda items. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm glad you came.
Is that a motion, Monty?
I made the motion half an hour ago.
Been a motion by Monty. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by John to adjourn. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? City council's adjourned.
We have the screen off for a picture of the kids down.
Take the screen off?
Yeah.
So I'll be going back down, and I can meet you there.
How's that?
It's good.
20 minutes, or?
Pardon me? Yeah, I better shut that off quick. Or, here's everything.
Put them up there. Thanks for coming tonight. Just a few words about city government.
There's every now and then you might think you.
Oh, yeah, well.
It's really nice now, we get our council packets on
Thanks,
Friday
Doc.
electronically. So that will give the city council members and myself and staff Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to visit with the council members or with the staff, what questions they may have. So sometimes, as tonight, you come in, there's not much discussion. So there might have been discussion in the background that you might not have heard. So, and as you well know from your government class